So I'm doing an update on the Yae build because right now with Dendro coming out, you get access to a new electro reaction, which is Aggravate, and it's pretty strong, as you can see from as you may have seen from other people's video or streams. I have also a showcase of Yae's difference in elemental mastery versus attack percentage cent with and without aggravate. And their damage basically skyrockets. It increased by 1,000, 10,000 damage almost. So it's pretty good increase, right? And it's something that I want to capitalize on. Therefore, I tried something new. I tried something different. You may notice that in comparison to the stats that she had before, they are different now. Before she had 2,000 attack and very few elemental mastery. But now she changed. Because these are the stats, crit rate, crit damage are still pretty high. They're basically the same that I had before. I think before it was 82 crit rate and 200 crit damage, something like that. It's basically the same, right? So it doesn't change much. The increase you get from the amount of elemental mastery she has now, it's better from the difference in crit rate and crit damage she had before. The only problem is that she has a lot of attack, a lot less attack. But I noticed that doing the damage comparison with that video showcase that I did a couple of days ago, which I will put a card on this video, it's still better to play her with Elemental Mastery because the increase she gets, it's still relevant enough to ignore the loss in attack that she received from changing the artifacts. You have to take into consideration that before she had 2 Please Shiminawa, 2 Peace Glad, and even though her stats were godly, I was never really satisfied with her, right? The problem with having 2 piece is that you don't really get advantage. You don't take advantage of the any 4 piece effect, which is something that, in my opinion, should almost always, at least when it's possible, use, because almost all the good artifacts 4 piece set are very good for the character that I put on, of course. I guess unless you're memeing, okay? So I decided to try something new. And I give her Thundering Fury, because after yesterday I got pretty broken stats, because I trashed all my artifacts into the Storm box, and I got plenty of good Thundering Fury artifacts. And yeah, in fact, she has a 4-piece set, but her stats are like this. Oh my fucking god, yes? Yes. She has an elemental mastery cent, so I can always switch this to an attack percentage cent, for example, this one, which is crazy, right? She's on Kaching, but don't look at Kaching, I don't use her. So yeah, I can always change it, right? But I tested it, and Elemental Mastery is still better than attack percentage, because you have to remember that Yae has that Forsaken passive, and that increases the elemental skill damage on 0.515% damage for the amount of elemental mastery that you have. So it might seem irrelevant, but when you take aggravate in consideration, it's a pretty relevant amount of damage increase. I feel that Yae now has a very good, is in a very good spot after 3.0. Before, a lot of people were, of course, disappointed in her because she has several problems. One of them being the fact that you have to recast the skills after using the burst, and the fact that the burst not only has 90 energy cost, but also has a 22-second cooldown. So if you want to burst every rotation, you have to make your rotation longer, which is generally not good, right? In fact, I have 115 energy recharge on her because I don't care about the burst. I just burst every 2 rotation. But now things may change because, you know, you have to take into consideration another thing, that Yae's burst doesn't have ICD, which means if the enemy is weakened, you aggravate every hit of this fucking burst. And the burst, with 3 turrets on the field, which you should always cast when there are 3 turrets on the field, will aggravate 4 hits in a row. I'll open a bracket here, just in case you don't know. Quicken is a special aura. It's a status that is applied on the enemy. It's not just an aura. It means that after triggering Quicken, the Quicken status will last, I think it was 5 or 6 seconds on the enemy, and unless you apply Pyro, you don't, or Hydro, I think, you don't take away the Quicken aura. If you apply Dendro or Electro to the Quicken aura, you trigger Spread or Aggravate respectively, right? But the Quicken aura stays for 5 seconds, so if you apply Electro, several times, the quicken aura will not go away, because that's a status that's not really an aura, and applying Dendro or Electro aura, an Electro aura to the quicken status does not take away the quicken from the enemy. And that's really important, because it means that with all 4 elemental bursts, Yae's elemental burst hit, you can aggravate all of them, which is a significant amount of damage, right? Because if you get a lot of elemental mastery, and I mean, if you build there with the sand and stuff, you get a lot of elemental mastery, so that's very important, right? The point with aggravate teams is that in comparison to the difference with spread or version / hyperbloom teams is that you cannot take advantage of the 4-piece Dendro set, right? Because where do I have it? Okay, I have it here. You cannot take advantage of the 4-piece Dendro set because aggravate is electro damage, it's not Dendro damage, right? And quicken doesn't deal damage, it's just a status. So basically this set is useless. In fact, that's the reason why in an aggravate team I use instructor pieces, 4-piece instructor set on my Dendro Traveler. This way I trigger quicken and all my team gets 120 elemental mastery, then all my character gets the buff. So the elemental mastery she has is actually higher than 120, right? So that's 320, sorry. So that's actually something to take in consideration. Now, why am I using Thundering Fury? Well, first of all, I don't have Gilded Dreams, and that's probably the other set that will try on air as soon as I get the 4-piece. So I will do an update on my Yae build as soon as I get a good 4-piece Gilded Dreams. But unfortunately, I've been very, very unlucky with Gilded Dreams. But in comparison, on the other hand, I've been extremely, extremely lucky with my Dendro set pieces. So there is that at least. But anyway, aside from that, I'm using Thundering Fury not only because it increases the damage deals through not only Everbloom and Aggravate, but also because maybe you can actually play her on field now. There is one thing about, where can I show you this? Okay, let's go to mod set. There is one thing to take into consideration when talking about turrets, Yae's turrets, is that when you cast a skill, the first time the turret shoots is faster than the other times. You see? When you cast it, it almost immediately shoots a lightning discharge, right? Instead, the following lightnings are always slower. This means that when you cast it, it's faster. And if you play her on field and she trigger aggravates, and she does on the enemy, it means that the cooldown of your skill is even lower. So what does it mean is that you can do in rotation, so skill, Kazuha, skill and burst, Traveler, then Traveler, skill and burst, official skill, and then you go back to Yae, and she gets to do N2 skill, which is, and you continue to do that. I think you can do that 2 or 3 or even 4 times before all the other buffs expires. And this is very interesting because every time you do N2E, which means 2 normal attacks and an E cast, the turret that you just cast will shoot faster. So you actually get more hits than normal. And of course, you will always, as long as the rotation is in play, you always have 3 turrets on the field, right? The problem with that is that Yae's normal attack are very bad. They have very low multipliers. I have a level 8, and still they are like that. And a third hit, which is a little bit stronger, is very slow. It has a very long animation, and you're locked in animation after the attack ends. And the charge attack not only costs 50 stamina, but even though it has a good multiplier, it has itself a very long animation as well. So that's the problem with Yae's normal attack. But your Yae normal attack will still aggravate as long as your enemies are quickened alongside with your turrets. And so there is that as well, at least. I think that if you want to play Yae on field and you want to aggravate with her, because don't get me wrong, you can still not do this and play Yae as an off-field, just an off-field Electro player, and she still very good. Damage is still very high. I can show you this again, even though I did the video the other day, but I can still show you this again. Damage is very high, and with aggravate, so you can still play her just like you play Fisher, right, as an off-field character. So, okay, let's figure instructor. Look, 25k aggravate. That's a lot of damage. Without aggravate, she does 19k. Okay, so it's still a good amount of damage, and that's only Yae and then MC. So without taking into consideration any BV shred, which still increases the aggravate damage, by the way, because it's still electro damage. So yeah, I can try and show you one rotation, but I don't know if I will be able to do it. Let's see, where should I go? The problem with this team is that, one thing that I was forgetting to say is that the problem with this team is that you don't have a healer, you don't have a shielder, okay? So in the other world, it's still fine, right? In Paralabis, a little bit less. You still have to learn how to dodge, so you may have to learn the enemy attack patterns, and you may take a couple of healing cards from the cards that appear on the Paralabis between one floor and the other, right? One chamber and the other. But one thing to take into consideration is that between Yae's skill and Kazu's skill, and even Fischl Burst, you move a lot around the field, right? So you can still dodge with those abilities. You don't need to actually dodge. You may need to do that as well, but less than you should, less than you would if you didn't have all this mobility through your skill and burst, right? So I think that this team may have some potential. I mean, for sure it's useful, so there is that at least. Not useful, sorry, usable. It's for sure usable, and it's a pretty interesting team. And there is a new way to play Yae. So I think that you may have a lot of fun with this team. I'm having a lot of fun with this team. In the overworld, I'm pretty consistently going to the stage of the salmon to heal them, so but that's not a problem, right? I mean, you're still exploring, so you always take damage from everything. Even when you're gliding and then you fall and stuff like that. Skill issue, I guess, right? But yeah, aside from that, I'm pretty happy with the Yae, where Yae is now, with the aggravate and everything. I think she got a pretty good boost to her damage, and she might be a little bit better with Gilded Dreams instead of Thundering Fury, especially because with Gilded Dreams you get both Elemental Mastery and attack percentage, so you can focus a little bit more on energy recharge on your substats, right? And that is something that I will try to do when I will get a good Gilded Dream set. When it happens, I will tell you. I will update you, and we'll see where it goes. I hope her damage will go up. I hope that she will be able to burst every rotation, especially since there is Fischl in the team, right? Fischl is a battery, and we have the Electro Resonance, so with these two characters. So maybe my RGI will be able to burst every rotation, and even making a little bit longer. Doesn't matter, but it takes a lot of damage. You gain a lot of damage, sorry. So yeah, there is that. Hope it's been useful. Hope it's been interesting to you. See you next time. Bye. And come check out my Twitch channel. I'm streaming right now. I'm recording this video while I'm streaming, just without script, just very raw, just talking to my audience. And even though it's small, so yeah, I appreciate it. I'm a new streamer. I started 1 month ago, and I'm trying to grow as much as possible with your help, of course. So if you're here on YouTube and you follow me through YouTube and not with Twitch, come check it out. I stream every day. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.